All right, if you're an association leader trying to make sense of the wild world of management software, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're taking a close look at a very different kind of platform, In1Touch. But first, I want to start with a number. $150,000. According to industry analysis, that's the potential hidden cost you could face if you pick the wrong association management software. Yeah, the stakes are incredibly high. So, our goal today is really simple. We're here to help you avoid that costly mistake. And we're going to do that by diving deep into one very unique platform so you can figure out if it's the right fit for you or not. And that platform is In1Touch. Now, it's a Canadian-based system, and it plays by a different set of rules than a lot of the big names you probably know. So let's get into what makes it so different. In1Touch comes from a company called Olatech, based out of Winnipeg, and they've been at this since the year 2000. Now, the key thing to get about them is their owner/operator model. Think about that for a second. The same people who actually build the software are the same people who provide the support. There is no outsourced help desk. The buck stops right there with the creators, which creates a level of accountability that is, honestly, pretty rare. So, does that model actually work in the real world? Well, take a look at the AIIC, a complex international association. They needed the whole shebang: bilingual, GDPR compliant, multiple modules, and Olatech built and delivered the entire thing in just 8 months. That tells you a lot about what a focused, accountable team can pull off. Okay, now let's get to the real heart of the matter, the core idea that truly separates In1Touch from the rest of the pack. Seriously, if you remember only one thing from this whole explainer, make it this, because it changes everything about how you should think about this software. That idea is CDAP. It stands for Citizen Development Application Platform. I know, it's a mouthful, but in simple terms, it's a low-code or no-code environment. And here's the crucial part. This isn't about just tweaking a few settings. It's designed to empower your staff, the people who actually run your association, to build and modify whole applications themselves without having to be professional coders. You know, here is the absolute best way to think about the difference. Most software offers configuration. That's like going to a restaurant and picking from the menu. You can choose your meal, but you're limited to what the chef decided to offer. In1Touch offers extensibility. That's like being handed the keys to the entire professional kitchen. You can create something totally new, something that wasn't even on the menu to begin with. Okay, a professional kitchen sounds amazing, right? But let's be honest, not everyone needs one, and not everyone knows how to use one. So who is this platform actually built for? The ideal fit is pretty specific. It leans heavily towards regulatory bodies, licensing boards, that kind of group, especially those that need a special compliance center for things like disciplinary processes. It's also great for groups that need serious bilingual support or want a true all-in-one system. But the most important piece of the puzzle is this. It's for organizations that have the people and the vision to actually take advantage of that professional kit. And that brings us right to the central question you have to ask yourself. It's what we call the Tier 2 question. In1Touch has the power of what's called a Tier 2 platform. There's no doubt it's a powerhouse. But the fundamental question your leadership team has to answer is this. Do you actually need all that horsepower? Is your organization complex enough to justify it? Because with great power comes a great learning curve. So, how do you know if you're a fit? Well, you might be if you're constantly feeling trapped by the limits of your current software. If your processes for things like licensing or certification are so unique that you need to build custom tools, not just flip a few switches. And, this is critical, if you have people on your team who are willing and able to invest the time to really master a powerful system. All right, we've gone over what it is, what it does, and who it's for. Now, let's bring it all home and look at what real users are saying to help you come to your own verdict. On the positive side, the reviews totally back up the promise. People praise the very high capacity for customizing, that's that CDAP advantage we talked about, and they absolutely rave about the customer service, which really speaks to the success of that owner/operator model. But, and it's a big but, all that power comes at a price. The very same users who love the customization also warn about a steep learning curve. One reviewer even said it took them years to master it. They also point out that for casual user, the interface just isn't that intuitive. The pattern is crystal clear. The big payoff only comes after a big investment of time and effort. So here's the bottom line, really. The platform's greatest strengths are directly connected to its biggest challenges. You get that amazing, true extensibility, but you have to be willing to climb that learning curve. You get deep specialization from an accountable, owner-operated team, but that means you're working with a smaller vendor and an interface that's built for power users, not for beginners. These are the trade-offs you have to weigh.
Of course, there's always the elephant in the room, right? With all this power and all this customization, what's it going to cost?
The short answer is they don't publish their prices, but they describe their model as all-inclusive, with the goal of being cost-effective over the long haul. And we do have one clue. A client mentioned that they went with In1Touch specifically because a huge platform like Dynamics was just incredibly expensive for them. And that brings us to the end of the road. After all this analysis, the final question you need to ask isn't really about In1Touch's features or its price tag. The final question is about your organization. Before you even think about scheduling a demo, your leadership team needs to sit down and be brutally honest about these 3 questions. 1. Do our workflows truly need this level of build-it-yourself power? 2. Can we, as an organization, commit the time and staff to really master this thing? And 3, is partnering with a smaller, specialized vendor the right strategic move for our next decade? Answering those questions honestly, that is how you avoid a $150,000 mistake and make the right choice for your future.